Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for tuning in again. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Today's video is mainly about my little journal. Actually, this is a little journal that I've got. Just look, it's not even a lot of pages actually. I got 18, 18 pages of my time at Wormwood Scrubs, my time at the induction wing, my time at the D wing, things that happen in there, the stuff that happened. Really, it's just like little random stuff, like what I ate, what time I got out, things like that. It wasn't really a thingy. It wasn't really a in-depth journal that I went into. Um, but I mean, I've read this a good few times since I've come out, and every time I've read it, I can picture exactly what happened on that day. I know exactly what happened um, throughout my time there. To be honest with you, I mean, it's not like something that you could ever forget. And the fact is, where I've written it down, um, these that time that I was there from the 19th of from the 21st of April until the 30th of May. So listen, I've not been in and out. I didn't do a straight long sentence in there. Yeah, I didn't do no 5 years, 7, 10, whatever life sentence. I didn't do none of that. It was my first time ever in prison. Um, been detained. Um, I mean, the first time being in July last year. Prior before that, I've never been detained. Never been in trouble with the police. Never gone through anything like that. But this little journal here, right? I'm only going to read up until, all right, so this starts from the 19th of April until the 5th of May. So from 5th of May was when I moved over to D Wing. Um, but I was in the induction wing from 19th of April until 5th of May. So everything in this little thing here um, was sort of like my day to day. What food I got, what time they gave the food, uh, what messages I got, what letters I got, what calls I made. Those little things that I mean, obviously, to me that was important when I was in there because, um, again, I'm only in there for a short time. I'm not there doing a long ass sentence. I'm not. I ain't been in for like like the serious crimes like GBH, um, conspiracy to sell. Um, Drugs. I went in there for sort of like none of that stuff. Like I said, I've been a good boy. I've been a good boy. Um, not been in any trouble. Um, so this little journal just is literally just about like my time in there. So we start off with the 19th of May when I first got arrested. So I was arrested at home at approximately 1 o'clock. It was three undercover CIDs who arrested me on alleged breach of contacting and obtaining the address of my ex and the children. At Acton Police Station, the Sarge openly says it's weak. Arresting officer then looks into other allegations and finds two breaches of posting. Interviewed at 7 o'clock, no comment interview. Listen, um, no comment interview. I know I wrote down here no comment interview, but there's certain questions that when you go into a police station and you get interviewed, um, I didn't follow the instructions of the duty solicitor that so when you get checked in, like I said here, Sarge will check you in and he will tell you blah blah blah, and it will tell the arresting officers as well blah blah blah. At this specific time, he said it was weak. It was a week that I had I had allegedly asked my auntie who's my mum's friend, um, to speak to my cousin, who spoke with my cousin, and just general conversation, as in like, how's the kids? How's I mean, there's a non-molestation order where I'm not allowed to speak of the kids or use directly or indirectly try and contact them, and that's not. This wasn't me. My auntie was just being who my auntie is, and she's a family friend, and I know that my family and friends know her, and we all know her, and she's a lovely woman. Her husband's a lovely woman. The son's lovely, lovely son, and none of this was from me to say that I'm out there looking for the kids, um, but that was twisted and manipulated into that context to get me arrested. Do you see where I'm coming from? That if there's a restraining order, a non-molestation order, specifically a non-molestation order, that is seen as a breach, and that is what got me arrested. And well, I mean, because it was so weak, they had to find other allegations, and this is what the police officers will do in there. So don't ever trust them. Now, when it comes to like I said, like going through the interview, it's up to you to give you. It's up to you if you want to give them a no comment interview. I didn't give a no comment interview in most of my interviews at the police station, and I was detained at Wembley Police Station 4 times. I was detained 5 times. Sorry, I was detained at Wembley Police Station 5 times. I was detained at um, Acton Police Station and then at Collindale Police Station. And each time these officers who are in there do this sort of like questionnaire questions, um, who were who, where, why, what, when, kind of thing. So, if you go no comment, they'll immediately go into why were you doing it, where were you, who were you with, what was the purpose. For example, that's literally how it works in there. So, in my case, well, in most cases, your duty to solicitor will advise you to go no comment. Why the hell are you gonna go? Why are you gonna go on that advice where you go no comment? You want to prove yourself, so please, if you do get a duty solicitor, and it is worth getting them, even though I don't trust them, and even though I don't like them, because they work for the police. And the reason why I say this is because they get a X amount of money for representing you and for being able to convict you in a way. Because I mean, they have to pay out for these solicitors to come out. So this is a good couple of £1,000 business for this solicitor. And I don't like to give them the time and day of it. So since I was detained, I only had three duty solicitors that I actually managed to speak to. And for me, where you know what, when you're inside a police detained cell, there is a chance for them to abuse you in a way where you are vulnerable. Um, you're not thinking right. You're going through the motions of being arrested, and depending on how serious the conviction, the allegation is. Sorry, um, I mean, there's a lot of things that they'll wrongly advise you. I'll honestly say that they'll wrongly advise you. Like, if I'm letting you know now that if you ever get detained, and I hope nobody ever goes through what I went through to go get detained, but it is good knowledge to have that if you ever do get detained, speak to speak to someone who's been through it. If you don't know someone who's been through it, then I would I wouldn't suggest going no comment, man. Ever, ever. I would never ever suggest you to go no comment. I'd suggest you to answer certain questions and close it. It's like going for an interview. Answer the question, close it. On to the next question. Next question might be something that's totally irrelevant. No comment, because it's not. You know what? You can even say it's irrelevant. No comment. It's nothing to do with me. No comment. Um, I wasn't a part of that. No comment. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of like. I understand that you're not prepared for none of this. If you go into a police station, so if you've seen this beforehand, like I would honestly advise you to say the truth, say what your side of events is, and not go to no comment. Because if it goes to a trial, to like a local magistrate's court, like what happened with me, um, you're gonna find it harder to talk back because you went no comment. See where I'm coming from? And that's what's going to that's what's going to be against you, to be honest. And it really is. It really is that it's going to go against you. It's not something that you want, obviously, but I wouldn't advise. You know, you've got to remember these duty solicitors, which are free, which are provided by the police, work for the police. So they they want to put you in a position where they can convict you, as opposed to not being convicted, because that's the last thing that they want. Do you see what I mean? Because if Sarge, for example, says that this is weak, or this is the person that can um, refuse your arrest, or refuse detainment, or allow you to go on bail early, conditional bail, for example, which happened with me as well. Um, all of these things, like it really does play a huge part um, on your case. And I'm hoping that it never goes to trial, because I mean, all of that is a huge headache for anyone who's going through it. So I don't advise no comment. There's certain questions that you can answer. There's certain questions that you can be truthful of, and then the thing is, it's like a quick fire question: who, where, when, what, why. That's literally how it goes. So you can answer maybe the why was you there, for example, on when was you there, but then the who, where, what, for example, you might want to just go no comment, no comment, no comment, because it's irrelevant. They're trying to catch you out. They're trying to put words into your mouth, um trying to put words into your mouth that you are guilty, that you are responsible for all of this. And at the end of the day, um for my case, it wasn't ever like that. I mean, my first arrest, for instance, on the 2nd of July, which was my daughter's birthday, um, police came down because she had called our next door neighbor. Our next door neighbor um, was a teacher at the school, so she had like power. You see what I mean? So when I mean power, is like she had that authority that obviously if they were to call the police, then special measures would come down, and special measures did come down, and there was a immediate IMO, IMU, immediate response unit with a dog handler. Now they would only come down if there was serious crime involved. When they arrived, there was no damage to the property at all. I was there with my dad, and I was there to collect my daughter and the kids, my 6 kids, to take them out for my daughter's birthday. But my ex had instructed this teacher to say that I was causing criminal damage to the property, which I wasn't. Even the next squad unit that came down saw that there was no damage, but I was arrested for controlling and coercive behavior. And that was my first ever arrest because of controlling and coercive behavior. So controlling and coercive behavior to pick up my child on the time that we had agreed so that I can take her out to a place in Park Royal where I had booked for her birthday. You know, we were the plan was to pick them up, you know, at 6 o'clock. It was booked in for them to have bowling, to have something to eat, with the bowling package, actually, at Park Row, 10-pin bowling, and just play some games, just play in the arcade. Like we've always gone to this arcade. Like I've got videos and, you know, like time with my kids when I've taken them to the arcade specifically, because I went there as a young, young, young teen, and because that was when it first opened, and I booked a package in there for my child and, you know, their siblings, 6 of them, and this was my time. But I was arrested for controlling and coercive behavior because my ex had called on the teacher to make it sound as worse than it actually was, so that I could get arrested. You know, even then, because there was no damage found to the property, no damage at all, no damage done at all. Um, out, no damage done at all. You know, she had to go on further and say that I was causing, I was being controlling and coercive. How is that being controlling and coercive when you've called now the police? So you're actually now controlling and coercing the situation where I can't now spend time with the kids, and then you've put through a non-molestation order so that I can have zero contact with the kids. I mean, that's controlling and coercive behavior. That's parental alienation, and parental alienation is a parent who causes that kind of I mean, they cause that trauma. That's the best word for it. I mean, I don't want to say anything else, because there's a lot of words that they don't use in court. But if I said child abuse and child neglect, that is so broad and undefined that parental alienation falls under child abuse and controlling and coercive behavior and child neglect. I mean, that's just a few, for instance, you see. So, no comment interviews. Listen, I'll do another video on no comment interviews, and, you know, like how to deal with interviews in a police station. Um, but I honestly advise you to say what you need to say. Do get a duty solicitor, but this duty solicitor is only going to tell you to go no comment. Every single time that I had requested for, and it was no comment interview, and I'm just thinking, no comment interview. I'm not. I'm not on that, because I've got truth. I've got truth behind what I need to say, and truth and evidence behind it. So I honestly don't. I don't support that course of action from a duty solicitor, when I honestly believe that if you've got someone, like if you're in strong, um, if you have a strong mindset, you'll be able to answer the questions truthfully, and none of it will go against you. And even though they say that, oh yeah, this stuff will go against you, it actually won't go against you, because now when you actually go to court, they're gonna have to prove it. Do you see what I mean? And that's part of the process, where if you're gonna plead guilty or not guilty. Um, in my case, it was posting, so I'm guilty for posting, because I said that, yeah, it's from me. It was from my account. It's not being malicious in any way. It's actually just highlighting parental alienation, not being able to see the kids. So that's what I was in for. But all right, look, Thursday, 20th of April. So I was still at the police station in Acton. Approximately 1 o'clock, I was charged with 3 breaches. So bearing in mind that my last interview was on Wednesday at 7 p.m. The following day, Thursday 20th, 1 o'clock, charged with 3 breaches of the non-molestation and restraining order and phone seized. So yeah, I mean, what happens is that they'll come to your cell, they'll tell you, we're further arresting you on breach of and charge of this. Da, 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 da. So mine was 3 breaches of the non-restraining order because I was posting. My phone was seized at the time, even though I'd given in the phone willingly. And that's one of the wrong things to do, to be honest with you, because if you give them your phone, you ain't getting it back. I've experienced it. I've not got my 2 business phones back. One was seized in December, one was seized in February, and I ain't gotten back. And I've lost business from it. Straight up. 2 business phones, 2 business numbers. You're supposed to return it. It's specifically after the court case has ended and been convicted of not been returned, because now it's a no reply, like 0 contact. It's a bit like my ex, to be honest with you, where you just go silent. For what? So even though I've messaged these police officers saying that, and I've got their numbers down, I've messaged them saying, look, these are 2 business contracts that you've got. This is my livelihood that could help supply for the children, and me make money for the children, and me make money for the business. They don't care. Okay, so Friday 21st, approximately 9 o'clock, arrived to Ealing Magistrates, because I was in Acton on the 19th of April for trial. At approximately 4 o'clock, sentenced to 16 weeks custodial sentence. At approximately 7 o'clock, arrived at Wormwood Scrubs, checked in, dinner was veg curry, and I was with 6 people in the induction, and moved to the 4th floor to a 6-bed dorm. Short bonding time, hard time to sleep, big solo in the room, bed number 5 to the Big Bear. Tried calling home and no answer. So that was Friday the 21st. So on your sentencing date, I hope you guys don't go through no sentencing date. So yeah, this place, 6-dorm bed. This is. I mean, I talked about this in my first night in at Wormwood Scrubs anyway. But at 4 o'clock, that was my sentence. So it was late. So that means I was one of the last people to be sentenced. Because you got throughout the day, yeah, you got how many people in those cells, in them magistrate cells. Like, I think you can hold. Well, actually, at Ealing, I think you could hold 12 in there. There was 12 that you could hold in, but there was only, I believe, 8. So, but to be the last to be sentenced is kind of like a long ass wait, and that's why I say it was torture. Torture is waiting for that time to be sentenced, to be heard, to be trialed. Long ass wait. But that's how it worked in my case, unfortunately, because that's how my case turned out. So out. So Saturday 22nd. So this is my first night in cell now. Good vibes, bonding. Been paired up with my new cellmate, Mr. Patrick Blenman. Good vibes here in cell B465. Unable to call the family. No numbers because I didn't hold any numbers, and I only knew like my home phone number, and I only knew my ex's number. That's the only 2 numbers I knew, and obviously I'm not gonna call my ex, and I only knew my house phone number. Because look at all this smartphones nowadays, guys. Come on, like, gone are the days where like we used to remember it up here, like them special numbers, those mom and dad's numbers. So I honestly think that we should have some kind of piece of paper in our pocket, because it will help. But I had no numbers. Um, the kind and gorgeous prison officer confirms my store number, but cannot confirm the business mobile number. Uh, Side face. Bacon, sausage, hash, and omelette meal. That was Saturday's meal. Sunday the 23rd. So good night's rest. Let out today at approximately 11ish. Had a shower. It's the first thing I did. And walked around the yard. I was given an induction booklet today. Need to make some inquiries and a to-do list. Need some essentials for our sale. Roast chicken and beef and mushroom con carne pie. Um, that actual Sunday was a mad one because, like, let me tell you something. Like, when you get on the induction ring, right, you get placed on chef's menu. So chef's menu is whatever is on the menu. It is whatever that they've cooked, and you don't get to choose. You don't get to choose until you have your menu to choose from. And let me tell you something. When I got to the D wing, even that menu was, you didn't even get what you actually put down. All right, that's how it works. So you may order some chicken, you get rice and curry. Maybe something else, maybe some vegan food or something like that. You won't get exactly what you want. That's literally how it is. Because listen, the people who serve the food in there, they don't care. But the people who do serve the food and do it properly, like in the B wing, which is the induction wing, they'll tell you how it is. But the other wings, like they were telling us, like you're not gonna get what you want, because obviously these servers who are serving the food will save what you've ordered for themselves or for other people, or give it to other people. And that's the worst thing about it. So you kind of need to tell them, you need to kind of stand up straight away, like, yo, where's my food? My piece of paper. I got my papers of what I written down, and I know what I ordered. And like, it's up to you to question them. You question them when you're out in the yard, you question them when you can see them in your association time, or you question mainly the prison officers are supposed to be going through that paper and dishing out the food. Do you see what I mean? So, and prison officers, screws, don't care about you. They don't care about you. And it's quite rightly, they shouldn't care about, like, you, to be honest with you. But it's if it's something that's been logged and being written down and being followed up on accordingly, then there's no problems, will there? Like, you got to think, like, if there'll be no problems to it. Like like the guy serving it, two of them who's serving it won't have any problems ever, because they're doing their job. The officers should see that, all right, these guys are doing their job, they're doing it properly, no problems. But if you bring problems onto yourself inside, then be ready to feel the heat, because I wasn't the only one who's giving these lot heat. Um, Bigger people in there who were worse than me, and I heard and I could see what they were doing and what they were saying and what was going on in the yard. Like, because it's a big thing. If you order food, like, you want that food. You didn't order no fish. Why are you getting fish? Why are you getting why are you getting vegan? Uh, why are you getting, like, pork? And even though you're Muslim, for example, why are you getting pork? Yeah, it happened in there, bro. It happened, and that was the problem. You see, so I always question the prison officers, that they're not doing their job properly, because it starts with them, because they're the ones who's following the servers who's serving the food. So at the end of the day, it's, you don't target the ones who are giving it to you. You target the ones who are supposed to be monitoring it and managing it. So I mean, that's how I kept myself to myself, and I kept myself on top of people. To be honest. But all right, Monday 24th, early let out, approximately 11 o'clock. I didn't have a shower today, but I got toiletries. I got my cleaning products. I didn't have my hepatitis B immunization, so I received that from Miss Margaret. Oh, she was the one. I remember Miss Margaret. So Miss Margaret, she's a nurse there from KUK. In fact, they're from KUK. They've been contracted from KUK. Um, so nurses, phlebotomists, which was what my ex was doing as well, because I've met how many phlebotomists in there. And then you've got general nurses who just dish out the medication to the patients. But right, Miss Margaret, um, she was the one who gave me the hepatitis B shot, and then I had a blood test from Miss Lucy. Miss Lucy was the one who took my blood test. I was clean. I was clear. I had no issues. I didn't realize that I had no hepatitis B. Now they push on hepatitis B in there because like you're in close confinement to many people. But what is that like on the bus? What's that like on a train? I mean, I've never had no hepatitis B shot ever, right? And I'm almost 40 years old, okay? And had no issues with it. I've been on trains, I've been on buses, I've been in crowds of more than how many people. Um, I've not caught nothing, but supposedly I had to have my hepatitis B. I did question it. I didn't want it, but I understood that being in the prison, you're coming across like these men who haven't had these shots, or you don't know where they're from. They're from South African background, from European backgrounds, or they've come from a drug type of background. So you might be exposed or at risk of that. But that's if you're sharing a needle, you're sharing like a razor, you're sharing a toothbrush, utensils. Yeah, I mean, honestly, we weren't in that kind of a. That's not when you're in prison. You're in a single cell when it comes to it. At the end of the day, anyway. So I didn't have none of that, but got it. Um, Still going on 24th Monday. Had couscous for breakfast. And I met the new prison night guard. So new prison. Every time a new prison night guard comes on shift, right, you get introduced to him. Mad, crazy. This even happened on D wing as well. Not just on B wing, but on D wing. But a new prison officer guard will start on the B wing because it's the easiest wing until you move on to a D wing or a different wing, which is not an induction wing. And yeah, meeting new prison guard. I mean, you're never gonna see them because they can't open the door in the evenings unless there's something going on in your cell. Unless something serious is going on in your cell. That's the only time that they'll open your cell. So I mean, it was good to meet him. But yeah, had a good laugh with them in our cell. I remember the guy as well. I remember the guy's face. The name I don't know because again, like I said, those who are on the night shift, they can only open your little window and ask you, "Oh, what's going on? What do you need? Why did you press the bell?" And you can only press the bell for like emergency. And I remember pressing it because we were out of tissue, like toilet tissue, and there's nothing you can do. Like you need toilet tissue, right? Um, that's the reason why I pressed it. But that was afterwards, by the way. Um, but to meet these new guards, I mean, you're not ever gonna see them. Trust me, you'll never see. You can talk to them through the window, through your cell door, but it's only a brief thing where they only pass through and they say, "Hey, what's up? You're right, good. Need anything? How are you?" Blah blah blah, and that's it. They move on and they do the same rounds, all the cells, yeah, and all the floors, 4 floors in Scrubs, ones, twos, threes, and fours. So that's what they do. Uh, so Tuesday 25th, um, I was up early, roughly about 7:30, and my first thing was to call home because I ain't managed to call mum and dad or anyone here. Um, nobody managed to pick up the phone. So I've been calling non-stop because I didn't know my mum's phone, my dad's phone, or my sister's number, or even any of my friends. I don't know any of them because I'm used to smartphones now, man. We don't memorize the numbers that we're supposed to memorize. It's a huge thing. So you should memorize it or at least write it down. But, again, so first thing was to call home. So approximately 10 to 8, I managed to get through and talk to mum and dad and my auntie. My auntie from America was here actually. So my two aunties from America, and my uncle from America, Sacramento and from Reno. They were over when I was out, but got arrested and then detained and had that prisoner sentence. Um, but I was talking to them for at least 10 minutes. So in your cell, you have your phone, and maximum call time on that is 10 minutes until it cuts off, and then you've got another sort of 10 minutes again before you can make another call. So, I mean, this is the same procedure as when it was pre COVID, and when there was only the phone on the landings. So, the landings is the only place where you could do the calls, but because of COVID, they had installed in house like landline phones. So that way you'll be able to sort of call your family in your cell, which was fortunate because if I was there pre-COVID, that would have been crazy, crazy. Like lining up and then waiting, and then if it don't go through because it went to voicemail, then you're gonna have to wait for another 8-10 minutes. So that means you have to go to the back of the line. Longness, mate. And I understand why there were so many fights on there because those who told me um, how it was. It was it was it wasn't a pretty time to be in COVID times. To be honest with you, it wasn't pretty at all. Um, it was tougher. It was the harsher sentence. When it was during COVID, I mean, they weren't even let out. That's another thing. Um, and this is a bit like how Scrubs is working at the moment. They're still working on sort of pre-COVID guidelines as opposed to sort of moving it forward now, um, which is what I want to try and help do at Scrubs. Um, Even though I'm out, I want to sort of try and help, these other prisoners, like because the other prisons have done their risk assessment, done their health and safety assessment, and passed it all, and it's like, why are we still living? Why are they still living in this caveman era? So, but okay, got mum after that 10-minute call, got mum, dad, and sister's numbers. Felt so relieved to speak to them all and explain the situation. Lunch was approximately 11:30. Um, that day we were let out about 10 o'clock. So that day on Tuesday the 25th, I had a shower, handed application forms. Um, so app forms is a whole lot of things you can ask from the app forms, by the way. So it's another thing I should go into detail of. But app forms is anything to do with your case, anything to do who you want to speak with, HDC, home detention curfew, your offending manager, officer. You can talk to kitchen. You can talk to any department, any department. That's what applications are for. Applications are for that, specifically for that. So there's a few applications that I always like, posted and put on um, with my cellmate. Further good news at 1 o'clock. Informed I might be able to be released on time from the 19th of May 2023. I'm not keeping my hopes up for this. It says here, I'm not keeping my hopes up for this. This page, yeah, number 3, page number 3, straight up. If it happens, then it's a blessing. Okay, another vegan meal today. So vegan curry is what I had. Cell painted today. Graffiti marks gone. Door painted blue. And then I got a saying that was on one of the on the wall. So it says here, God does not give a weak soldier a hard mission. So that's one of the cellmates who wrote that previously, who was there in that cell, B465. And it just happened that when I was on D-Wing, I managed to meet one guy, Mr. Salmon. Mr. Salmon, and that's his name. I call him Mr. Salmon. Yeah, another Rasta guy, Jamaican brother. And he was in the same cell where we were staying at, B465. B465. So, and I asked him, "Did you write this?" And he said, "No, it wasn't me. That might have been someone else." It's all right, because it's true. Like induction ring changes. After 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, it will change. But that was on the Tuesday. Wednesday the 26th. So Wednesday the 26th of April, 10 a.m. I was out early today. Inquiries on healthcare. I asked about rehoming and employability. Pasta for lunch and served another vegan meal. Today was jacket potato and beans. I managed to contact my little sis, and she's in charge of the business right now from Wednesday the 26th. Thursday 27th. I woke up at 3:30 a.m. in the morning. Plenty of farting, passing wind, because constipated at the moment. Ain't been to the toilet since Saturday. I know that for sure, since Saturday. But we was out early at approximately 9 a.m. Had a quick shower. I was seeing my Miss Margaret, taking my blood pressure. Received our canteen menu today. So canteen menu is you can order food. And I ordered a few things with Mr. P. The total amount was £21.80, and I had spent £21.78. Mr. P spent £21.76. Received a few posts today. Visitors application approved. Numbers approved. Application to transfer £50 from privates to spend, and a release date notification slip. I signed a paper to not contact the demon. Oh, that was another thing. Like I was called out of the cell, and I was demon. Sorry, but I was called out of the cell to not contact my ex. So hence the name demon, because that's what us prisoners like referred to them as, to be honest with you, because it's a demonic thing to do. It's a demonic act of aggression towards you, so that's how we refer to it as, and that's how some of the man them saw it. But Yeah, good meal today. Had two meat pastries because my guy, um, my guy Blendman, he's a Rastafari. So he only eats fish, no pork, no chicken, nothing like that. So I used to get his food, to be honest with you, and that's real talk. I got his food, but I'd give him like what I had that I don't take. So it could be like the cereals, for example. I give him the cereals because then I'd think, all right, you know what? In the morning, I'm gonna eat this pastry. You can have this extra muesli, for example. You can have that muesli, or you can have this cereal packet, and that's how we got along, man. Like, because it's give and take. Like, you can't take everything. Um, can't give because you're gonna be seen as you know one of the yes mans, and you don't want to be seen as a yes man. But um, yeah, two meat pastries that I got today. Yeah, they were cold pastries, by the way. So when you warm them up, you got to steam it. That's that we only got one kettle, and that's the thing that we used to steam on. So what I used to do is just put it on top of the plate, or wrap it up in the plastic that was in, put it on the plate, and then it would just like sort of steam up and bubble up and just warm up. Do you know what I mean? And I finally got a hot meat meal today: chicken thigh, leg, and roast potato. Now I'm telling you guys, you're gonna have to fight if you're on induction. Where you're gonna have to fight to get some kind of a meat in there. It is impossible, near enough impossible to get something like that, unless you know the guys or you're cushy with the guys. But I'm telling you, like, be on their case and tell them, listen, I'm gonna cut this one off and I'm gonna come back with a part two on this because I didn't realize it was gonna be this long. I'm only up until the 27th, but I'm gonna finish this off, upload this, and finish the rest of the time from the 28th until the 5th. Let's